Greetings. It's windy out here today. I'm gonna have to hold this closed. Sorry, you can see my ugly face. But yeah, just kind of wanted to say some things maybe about AI. Some thoughts I've had about it. So far, the discussion around it has been kind of completely, I don't know, impotent. I mean, it's interesting. People love AI. Some people, leftist, rightist, people all over the political spectrum love it, and they create their own chatbot engines and do interesting things with it, generate neat art and stories and stuff like that. I wrote a story on it. I think it's pretty neat. It's kind of a screenplay, actually. The Black Storm. Did it kind of collaboratively on a thread on Facebook, Josh Wolf's Facebook post. But it's interesting. It's here. It's really here. I mean, you can't, without a smartphone, a lot of times you're trying to pay a log back into something and pay a bill or something. Well, now they want to, increasingly, they want to use two devices. They want to definitely link you to your phone, to your device. They want to authenticate. So they're going to send you a code or a number to your phone. And then you'll enter that code, and then you'll be able to proceed into logging into your Citibank account, for example, or whatever it is. This is now. This is happening. It's totally now. And also the prevalence of AI being involved in censoring content or visibility filtering content away from people's eyes. And now we know it's generating content. Some are saying that, as we head into this election cycle, heading towards November 2024, that the prevalence of AI-generated content will become more and more. Okay. So the thing is, the AI by itself, just like a tool laying there, is not so scary, but the people that are programming it and what their goals, their aims are, is what makes it dangerous. Even when people are trying to do nice things with it. Okay, I'm not a huge fan of Elon Musk. Please, let's don't go on that. I work at Tesla. Okay, who cares? But I think Elon's just another figure out there, a public figure that I really don't know personally. So all I can react to is what I see online or here and there. But anyway, I did kind of get the sense that he wanted AI that he was working on. He didn't invent it. Okay, let's don't get in that debate. But he was part of the people that were generating it, working on it. Sam Altman, OpenAI. So anyway, I think they had a falling out, as best I can tell. And Sam Altman kind of went more establishment with the things and allowed what was called OpenAI because it was going to be an alternative to other AIs that are completely partisan. We can see now they are heavily filtered. They're no longer honest. The promise of it, the great thing about these chatbots, was that you were going to be able to just ask query, right? Create these really clever queries, and then get the chatbot to just generate some great content for you, just openly and honestly, just out there surveying everything it can and generating the best answer for you. Well, that's not happening. And what's happening instead is more Google type filtering, really heavily filtered content, preferencing, putting before your eyes things it wants you to see, and blocking things it doesn't want you to see. And that's a bummer. So then Elon Musk says, well, let's create OpenAI, and OpenAI will be what AI was promised to be. But anyway, like I said, that got co-opted. It's now pretty much a Microsoft thing. And again, I think part of the monopoly, Microsoft, and it sucks. And see, that's a shame. We've actually already lost control of AI, and that is why it is scary. Okay, it's not the capability of the technology itself, although that is super wow impressive when we really think of where it's gonna go very soon, where it is now. But no, we need to fight this, and how we fight it is maintaining our own cognitive abilities. So like a practical example in your life would be, I know people now that started driving sort of after the era of maps, and they're young, they're smart, they're capable people, and they're really great at navigating with their phone. They're, as long as they have their phone on and Google Maps or whatever it is, man, they're good to go. They're awesome, and just getting there, great. But when that goes offline, they suddenly lose it. They don't know directions. Yeah. If there's a mountain range to the east of them, they're thinking, geez, are we heading south or north right now? It's kind of gray out here. I can't see where the sun, I don't know where we're heading. They can't think to themselves, oh, but look, the mountains are over there to our east, and we're pointed this way, so we're going south. You know what I mean? They don't really have directional sense, and they don't know how to read maps. It's like they've never seen a map. So I guess what I would say is they would remain immune to the effects of AI's navigational impact on them, and also be able to use it as a tool, as long as they did just that, just used it just as a tool. And then every now and then they did it themselves, or they tried to remember, like, hey, this is the third time I'm going back to this dance studio. Why don't, instead of not just staring at my phone the whole time, why don't I just get familiar? Oh yeah, when I get to the Taco Bell, I go left, you know what I mean? And then when I get to the, KFC, I go right, you know what I mean? Something like that, and also learn how to read maps, stuff like that. It's the analog version of reality. Tune back into that, learn how to read books again, have an attention span for reading books. Get it focused on some details of something. This will keep your cognitive abilities sharp, keep you tuned up and independent somewhat of what's happening online and on the social media platforms and the controlled monopoly media environment, and so that you can then turn your eyes back to that, back to X or Twitter, or back to Facebook, and back to your interactions that you're having. But you do this with a critical eye, and one that's not so immersed in it, as if it's the sort of only reality, and this reflects the totality of your interactions about any given topic. Well, then you start to get this skewed view, and the AI is actually controlling what's happening, what you're thinking, what about any given major topic that's controversial or what have you. So yeah, that's a way to gain immunity to it, is to step away from it and then to look back at it with a critical eye, and to have other contacts with reality that are not AI controlled at all. So when you enter a room and both people have their phones off or away or in their pockets, and they're just talking, and maybe there's a record playing or on the record, or Someone can take a book off a shelf and read the book, read a newspaper. Although a newspaper is now dynamically edited content, oftentimes just pulled from offline, so it's problematic now too. You have to be critical when you're reading any media or counting any media platform. But I don't know, I've just been thinking about this because we're fast heading into some new territory, and this is not, conspiracy. Also learn how to not say that word so much. There's something of like a Latin root in there, to breathe, like to respire, respirate, conspire. And I think it's like all together. Like, so it's like breathing together. Conspiracy. But really what the modern context of the word, what it really means, is anybody getting together and planning something in secret. That's it, right? A lot of people conspire together to do stuff, big and small, who cares, right? But when people are analyzing trends that happen out in the open, or when they're analyzing statements that board of directors have made, or they make policy directives, they make statements, so that's not conspiracy, right? That's not falling down a rabbit hole of Trump crazy, no, that's analyzing reality with some detail and jumping out of the personality driven digital echo chamber of tribal snark, so kind of getting out of that environment and getting to other environments, sampling other media, and going more to the source, going more investigative style yourself. A lot of these things are online. It's really, Google is hard. I mean, you say Google it, that's almost, saying, oh, you're going to experience a horrible filter of lies. But actually, if you know the names of the government documents or the studies or the reports that come out as they come out, and journalists will mention them sometimes, so you can go to those sources and you can just read what they say, and you don't have to listen to endless banter about how the government's going to ban books, and then you read the thing that they're actually proposing, and it's really not banning books, so I mean, or maybe it is, but anyway, you at least find out the detail of what it is, what the hype is about, and then say, no, here's what this bill actually does that sucks. It appropriates a big budget for another useless bureaucracy or something. That's the real issue with this stinky bill. There's nothing for the culture war in there, back off, culture war. But yeah, the culture war is the plan. I really believe that, and it's not a conspiracy. Once again, it's a lot of things you can see out in the open. People are driving policy, and groups and tribal identities and so forth, and just suggesting that it's just insurmountable, like it's over. You can't, it's just this wall of propaganda about racism that I think really started after Occupy. So Occupy was about economics, remember? The 1% versus the 99%. Banks got bailed out, we got sold out. They had a real class awareness to it. Well, that's been, replaced now with just complete focus on identity politics and stuff like that, which the elites love. They can manipulate and control that, keep people triggered and hyped and fighting each other, and not really making economic demands, not really fighting for affordable health care and to get private equity out of the healthcare monopoly situation that it is. But no, we don't do that. We're not looking at that. We're not talking about that. We actually don't even have reporting from our wars anymore. We don't even really know anymore what's happening in Ukraine or Gaza or whatever. We get, if you can get some Al Jazeera or, I mean, I don't know, but it's tough. It's the war on journalists has happened, and the left has been woefully absent in that situation as well. Or just, people, not just the left. But everyone needs to focus more, on what's happening with Julian Assange and Edward Snowden, and not only just those guys, the high-profile names, but other names and locally and stuff, with the journalist scene. It's so key. We don't have it now, and that's allowing fascism to flourish. It's a big part of it. Anyway, I've said too much. The idea is we need to control, people need to have alternative AI platforms that are programmed by them and different people, different groups. Those need to be popular, they need to be accessible. And we also need microfiche and libraries and kids interested in books. Again, all this will be an anecdote to what's coming, to what's here. It'll give us the critical facility, the perspective that we're going to need to fight this and get outcomes that are favorable to us.